What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Flash, Season 3, Episode 20. I know who you are! I called it very late in the game. I called it on the last episode, but I think I was kind of right. I don't know if I got it 100% correct, but we finally found out who Savitar is. It is indeed Barry himself. Um, I'm assuming we're gonna realize, because he at one point he was going through his mind and he started remembering all of this stuff, and he remembered what Future Barry told him. You'll create time remnants of yourself, but he'll kill most of them or all of them, something like that. Um, but he remembered that, and so I'm assuming we're gonna find out that this Barry is a time remnant that he created and I guess abandoned or something. I'm kind of interested to see this Barry's story because I said in the last one there was a moment where he created a time remnant to stop Zoom's device in the last season. And so I was wondering, oh, maybe it's that one. But we're starting to see that this Barry has lived all of these moments that they're living now. So I'm assuming it's going to be a time remnant that he hasn't yet created. So kind of mind blowing there. So I'm hoping we get to see very soon how he creates this time remnant and what happens. But it already kind of feels like the future has started to change a little bit because obviously there are certain things that aren't coming exactly true. Killer Frost has teamed up with Savitar and all that stuff. But we found out from Future Barry that he didn't know who Savitar was by the end of it. And now our Barry, present Barry, has figured it out. So that's already a change in the future. So once again, it's one of those questions of, does the future change as soon as certain things happen, or does it have to happen presently? So, for instance, if I go and visit myself in the future, he would be able to tell me about all of the, let's say I go past season 4 of The Flash. Future me would be able to tell me about what's going to come in season 4 of The Flash. Now, if I come back, though, and I go maybe talk to the screenwriters and maybe present either these ideas or maybe present a different idea entirely, if I visited the future at that point, the future would have already changed. So I'm assuming that because that Future Barry did not know who Savitar was, this was before something happened in the present that sort of changed that. So I don't know. Maybe Savitar is changing based on what's happening in the present. So Barry going to the future, maybe Future Barry didn't do that. So Savitar at that point hadn't gone to the future. But as soon as Barry did, then all of a sudden he had. I don't know. But my mind is kind of like, I confused. I don't really know what to expect anymore. Because maybe the Savitar that Future Barry faced was a different Savitar than what present Barry is facing because he does things differently in this present. I don't know what to expect. But anyway, it's very interesting to see kind of how this is all playing out. It very much is kind of something you can figure out fairly early on. And I'm pretty sure somebody somewhere had once said, oh, maybe it's actually Barry himself that's Savitar. So it's not like nobody suspected this before. But it is interesting to see that is what it is. He is a time remnant of Barry, most likely. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it all get explained. I'm looking forward to seeing this Barry time remnant story, see how he became Savitar. Why did he hate Barry, the real Barry or the future Barry, or however it works? Why does he hate himself so much? What caused all of this? And of course, it's very interesting to see just kind of the story progressing. Caitlin is becoming more Killer Frost, and at this point, she's pretty much completely Killer Frost. It's hard to imagine her as Caitlin doing all of this stuff. And of course, just some of the other minor stories going on. You've got Julian and Cisco kind of trying to figure out how to handle this situation because Julian really likes Caitlin, and so he saved her life, but in the process kind of threw her life away to Killer Frost. Cisco hates him for that because Caitlin's his best friend, and he doesn't want to hurt her, so he's like holding back on his powers because he's concerned if he uses his powers too much, it might hurt her in some way. So, all those little stories are very interesting, and, for the most part, they're very well handled. But the one that did stick out to me, and I hate to complain about anything in this episode, but the Joe stuff just didn't work for me. And, maybe for some other people are like, oh, this is a very sweet story, but to be honest, it just felt like it was distracting from the main point. And whenever you've got such a great story, to go away to something else really takes away a lot from that. And if that were the only reason, I'd probably be okay with that. I'd be like, they're trying to tell this other story with Joe, that would be fine. But the problem with the story is, it's such a cliche story, and to do it with two adults makes it seem very awkward. Because normally the storyline I see in, like, okay, two college kids are dating, and then one of them says, I love you, and the other one's not there yet. And so it's just like, oh, well, what are they going to do from here? I've seen that story before, but it's always been done with younger people. These two are, like, older. Like, Joe is probably in his late 40s. What's her name? Cecile? No. Celine? I don't remember her name. I know it starts with a C. But she's, like, probably maybe early 40s, maybe late 30s. So they're older, and they're going through this, oh, I love you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop that. It was too soon. And then he goes through the whole, we're not on the same page, so I'm going to have to leave you, and he's leaving her to protect her. So, yeah, all of these little things are just kind of like, why am I seeing this with two adults? With two grown people? This is an awkward story for them. So, I don't know, just that story in general seemed, first of all, distracted from the main plot, which I was really looking forward to, because the title, I Know Who You Are, is like, we're going to find out who Savitar is in this episode. So I was really looking forward to that. So you're taken away from that with the story, and then on top of that, it's such a cliche story that's normally done with college kids, maybe high schoolers, and you're doing it with two grown adults. One of them has kids. I can't remember if she does or not. It just seems out of place. So yeah, that was kind of frustrating. It was the only problem I really had with this episode. The HR stuff, kind of back and forth on, some of it is funny, and some of it's just like, he's kind of an idiot and she's actually kind of falling for it. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about this story. If it comes to mean something later, obviously they're trying to get this doctor to help them out with figuring out Savitar's abilities and figuring out how to trap him in the process. So she is meaning something to the story, but this whole thing that they're kind of building between her and HR, I don't know if that's going to mean anything to the story or not. So I'm hoping that it does mean something. I'm hoping they're not just throwing this random romance into it just to have some romance for HR. So I guess my opinion on that depends on where it's going. If it's just going to be this random romance, I'm probably going to hate it. But if they actually have a point to it, I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to handle it. So that's pretty much it as far as this episode is concerned. A lot of it was the kind of build up to Savitar, figuring out who he is. A lot of it was stopping Caitlin from trying to kill the doctor. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I know it's kind of a quick review, but honestly, the main thing to talk about is the fact that we know who Savitar is now. So where it's going to go from here, if we're going to figure out kind of what happened in the future that led to this Barry becoming Savitar, I don't know if that's going to happen next episode, or if we're going to keep on this story a little bit in the present, and then maybe by the end he'll explain what happened. But I'm really looking forward to figuring out what this Barry story is and what happened, because it really is interesting. And if it turns out being what I thought, where the Time Remnant that was helping stop Zoom, if he's the one that became Savitar, I hope they explain why he knows everything that's going to happen. Like how he knows the conversation that Barry has with Killer Frost and all that stuff. Clearly he knows exactly what happened. So I hope they explain that as well. But whatever the case, I'm really looking forward to the next episode. I'm really looking forward to this final part of the season, because it's setting up brilliantly. Pretty much like every season of Flash so far, the final few episodes are just really intense, really good story. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do and how they're going to handle it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Flash reviews, and I'll see you at the next one. Peace out.